Hey, how's it going? It's good to be back on here again and see you guys again. And I've had some really interesting interactions and energy fluctuations in the past few days, in the past week. And I hope that everyone is well. I know that there's big energy coming through. I woke up super early this morning, too early, but I had a little bit of work to do on my energy bodies, on my system. So I got that done, and then there was no going back to sleep. So I hope you are surfing the wave, being restored. This is a real strong time of restoration because we are moving into the portal zone this quarter of the year, which is a really fruitful kind of underworld time. So there's a lot to be planted. There's a lot to be set down into the earth, having to do with the unseen and the hidden realms, the other worlds, all of those things. So I just wanted to pop on here and talk a little bit about just a theme that comes up with the full moon. So on the full moon, we talk a lot about being done with things, being full with something, being finished with something. And it's a good time to reflect on that, what you are ready to put down, what reality you are prepared to break. But I want to throw a little bit of a twist into that because a lot of times when we talk about things we are ready to be finished with and chapters we are ready to close, that is accompanied by an avoidant kind of attitude. And it's like trying to get away from something, trying to get rid of something, taking out the trash, like PU sort of thing. Okay? Pushing something away from ourselves. Okay? And that necessarily is not a super effective way of getting the kinds of results, the kinds of experiences, the kinds of interactions that you want. So while we are in the business of breaking, literally breaking down old realities and creating new realities, this is a practical thing, not a theoretical thing. We are changing reality and we're learning how to actively and consciously break down and build up new realities. And a very inefficient and ineffective way of doing that is by saying, F you, good riddance, get out of here, sort of stuff. Okay? We can celebrate when things move away. We can celebrate the closing of a chapter and the opening of a new chapter, right? But any of the sort of tone of resentment, tone of bitterness, tone of avoidance, tone of disgust, and even like the cousins of those, which is like relief when you escape something, or the smugness having to do with also narrowly escaping that which is not preferred. Okay? And so what I want to leave you with this is I want you to think about what this full moon you are metaphorically, magically, mystically going to kill. Okay? There's some great quotes. Is it in the Elton John movie that what is the his bandmate says to him? You have to kill who you were before. Okay, so this full moon, what are you metaphorically killing? Okay, and the really important thing about that is that it's something that you cultivate a tremendous amount of love and compassion for, not something that you hate. You're not bludgeoning something to death with your rage. That's not the mind of the magician. Okay? You are killing something you love. This is why the image is the sacrificial lamb. Okay? Everyone loves a lamb. Everyone wants to cuddle a lamb. Everyone wants to preserve the life of the lamb. Okay? And so it is that act. So if it's a reality you want to move away from, I encourage you to think about all the ways that you hold any resentment against it, all the ways you flare up against it, and soften that. Open the compassion. Let the resentment fall down. Let the rage fall down. Let yourself be filled with love, because the true act of courage is making a decision that is not based in what? Victim, right? If you bludgeon something to death because you hate it, you are in victim. That is operation under shadow. That's operation under a trigger. If you make the decision that a certain situation is no longer correct for you, that a certain behavior is no longer correct for you, you are making that decision based on your standard for life, not based on a trigger. Okay? And so when you make a decision from that place, it can be in full compassion, total love. And if you can kill something you've cultivated love for, right? You may want to burn part of your identity in effigy. That's something I'll be doing. There's a big part of my identity that is no longer going to be relevant moving forward. That's something that I love. That's something that I sat with this morning. I sat with that self. I sat with that girl, right? And I cultivated love for her. And it's from that place that then I remove. It's from that place that I then break down that reality. And if you can do that with equilibrium, you're going to collect a tremendous amount of magnetism and power. Okay? I posted yesterday about something that happened where I realized that I had made plans I shouldn't have made. And rather than hustling to correct my mistake, I allowed myself to know that what is best for me arises. And lo and behold, a few moments later, the person texted to basically cancel or minimize our plans. Okay? Excuse me. So what I'm talking about here is about how to be efficient at moving and dealing with energy. This is not, well, there are principles of it, there are theories of it, but the application is such that we are figuring out and learning how to transmit the change and the movement, the transformation, the self-evolution in a really comprehensive and cognitive way, or cognizant way. Okay? We're generating magnetism. We are generating velocity. Okay? We are generating our own sort of amplitude and power of projection, of movement through time, space, time. Okay? And it's not by luck. All right? So think about that. The sacrificial lamb. This is very Abrahamic, right? The story of Abraham called to kill his son. That's one of the biggest questions in the Bible. Why? What is this? Right? And obviously he stopped from doing so. But it's this question of cultivation of faith. And obviously that is a whole other enormous bottomless conversation, the Abrahamic conversation, but it holds relevance here. If you can't cherish something as sacred, you probably shouldn't be trying to kill it. Okay? If you don't cherish something as sacred, do not try to get rid of it. So reverse engineer that and notice the things in your life that you would like to be done with, you would like to be rid of, and treat them as sacred. Relate to them as sacred. And then continue on with the choice you made from the place of the choice rather than from the trigger. That's the magic. And that's the mind of the magician. Okay? This is a potent one, so it's not going to land with everyone. But it's a really important tool in terms of creation and destruction. I'm often looking at where creation and destruction overlap. Where do creation and destruction talk to each other? Where do they engage one another? Okay? And as humans, what is our role there? And more than our role, okay, what is our opportunity? What is my incarnational opportunity in the face of creation, destruction? What can I do? Right? And if I am willing to have the capacity to wield everything about me, my emotions, my physicality, my movements, my thoughts, if I'm willing to engage and wield all of those as a tool, what does my human opportunity become? What does human potential actually look like? Okay? Because as they say, everyone is a human, but there's this evolutionary thing where everyone grows. Okay? Or how else would I say it? Every organism grows given the opportunity. There's a next level human evolution that doesn't happen for all humans. Every human is a person, but maybe not every human is a human. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a stage of evolution and maturity. And this is what we access with the mastery of the mind of the magician. Okay? This is what we access when we pull in all the pieces of ourselves into one direction, one velocity, one single mind of a standard. And the more conscious we can be of more of the parts, alongside our willingness to have faith in coincidence, synchronicity, the divine flow, okay? How conscious we can be alongside how faithful we can be is part of what then generates that power and that answering, okay? So I rambled off a little bit, but that's just one of those pieces of how to be as efficient as you possibly can in the course of creation and destruction, okay? A lot of this information, esoteric information, mystical information, metaphysical information is really sort of thrown out in a non-technical way, but it is specific and it is technical. It is a practice. It's not luck. You know, a lot of people have rituals that they actually don't take very seriously. You know, a lot of people are, kind of excited to call themselves woo-woo, but they don't actually respect the thing with which they're engaging. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the mechanisms of energy, the mechanisms of creation, the way our potential operates, the way we can wield the tools that are at our disposal, the way we can take advantage of our incarnational opportunity. Okay? So I know a lot of people are willing to do the work. A lot of people are hungry to do the work. A lot of people are hungry for change. And what I'm here to help you do is understand the how truly. Understand the how while also cultivating the bigness, the spaciousness of mind, which allows you to then receive it. Okay? So people can do the grind, people can do the work of the magician, but they never receive because they don't simultaneously cultivate the mind of faith as well. So we're pulling these pieces together, our rational mind, our intellectual mind, our thinking, alongside with the flow and the trust and the playfulness. Okay? And everything I share here, these are all pieces. These are all tools that you can use and you can take with you. Okay. And everything I share is something that you can use today in your life for yourself, in your spiritual practice, in your creation practice, in your magicianship practice. Okay. And I also want you to know that I'm here to support that. So I stream energy to you when you request it, or when you give me your permission. Okay? You can always do it on your own. And also, part of our evolutionary function is the decision making that we have. So, what is the courage? You know, a lot of us have cultivated courage over the course of several lifetimes and this lifetime, having to do with independence, having to do with the power of the solitary hermit, having to do with the power of the fool. Those are all real. Okay? But my question is, is the next courageous thing for you to go on and continue on the path by yourself? Because for me, that has been a major shift. When I decided to open myself to receiving help and camaraderie and feedback from others, right? I could see how that was a next evolutionary experience. You can awaken yourself through all of time. You could evolve yourself through all of time. You can raise yourself through all of time, and you are welcome to do so. And you can also do that in the company of others. You could do that with a friend. You can do that with a group. You can do that with your family. And you can see how the dynamic creation of magic changes. Okay? So that was a rambler, but I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you and that my love for you streams 24/7. That's why I am constantly posting things. I choose not to turn off the faucet anymore. And I just pray that this lands for anyone who will benefit from it. Okay. And until I see you next time, I hope you stay very well. Let me know if you have any feedback, any questions, and yeah, let me know how it's going. I love you very much. Bye.